Hi, Fabio.
Hey, Sasha.
So you're a fresh graduate of the program, and I wanted to do this quick interview for you to share in your own words with people who are considering to join the program what it's all about and what maybe not about the program per se, but about you and your journey, right? So maybe let's start with a few details about you and your business. What do you do and which clients you work with, etc.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the opportunity. Yeah, so I'm a social worker. I'm a psychotherapist. I've been in the field for about 10 years. Um, and I work primarily with men. So I do men's work, focus on trauma and relationship issues, really. So issues of codependence, heartbreak, loneliness, sexuality, things of that nature.
Yeah, wonderful. So why did you decide to join the program in the first place? What were your expectations, hopes?
Well, so I guess I'll reveal myself here. So I struggle with ADHD, and I guess it's out there on my website. But I've in the past also struggled with anxiety, and I one of the features of ADHD for me was just overwhelm, like
Mm,
massive overwhelm, a sense of loneliness. I'm
yep.
self-employed, so I had the opportunity of being guided by you, which I trust you. The stuff that you on your website is really solid, and then being part of a group, I really felt like it could get me. It could get me there. It could get me to have a my goal, which is have a full private practice.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, I have ADHD too, so we're uh, a good, happy family with lots of gifts too. Uh,
Yeah.
so what were your biggest struggles in your private practice before joining the program?
Oh man, I could list so many. With
Please
that,
do.
yeah. So a complete sort of sense of like, where do I even start? How do I make this transition from student,
Yep.
uh, graduate student into somebody that's working for an agency into having like my own business? It felt like a big step into adulthood and self sufficiency. Um, uh, so overwhelm, a sense of overwhelm, anxiety on how to do it, which steps. There's so many programs out there, so many books and programs, and it's like, where do you start? What do you start reading? Um, as I said earlier, like I needed also a sense of community, so I was feeling kind of alone in this. And I know what I know about myself is that I really benefit from having other people. Like I love community, so having other people like text me or email me, and me emailing them and inspiring each other to achieve our goals, which is we're all wanting to have kind of our own practice. Um, those like overwhelm, and then there's so many sub points on the overwhelm. It's like a timeline, how to do it, which clients to pick, how do you build a website, how do you make videos, do I need videos, what's SEO. Well, now in retrospect, it's a lot of stuff that I didn't know that I didn't know earlier before the
Mm,
program. So it's like now I can give it a word to what I didn't
yeah,
know.
that's such a good point. That's what I see with therapists. The fear is that I don't know uh, marketing, and it's very real. People usually don't, and they don't even know what they don't know, right?
Yeah. Well, it's like the crazy thing. I mean, I think you might have talked about this a number of times in our program. Like that's we get clinical skills at school. We learn, and social workers, we learn about macro problems, societal problems, social justice, family therapy, uh, therapy with children, etc. We
Yep.
don't have time, or just it's time is not spent at all on how do you build marketing, business skills, money skills. Like there's none of that. It's sort of assumed that you'll get it or you already have it. And so, when I launched into the world, I was just like, okay, well, I guess I got to figure it out somehow. Um, and so, yeah, that's one of the big things that the program helped me with. like the class I didn't get.
Yeah, yeah. Which is a shame. That's the bad news. The good news, there are things. This is all knowledge can be acquired, right?
Yeah, yeah, totally. And for me with ADHD, it's like doing it in a systematic way, like having a path.
Hmm.
That's the thing that really kind of makes a difference. Because again, yeah, you can go out there. I have lots of business and marketing books, like I've bought over the years, or got from the library, or audios and whatever. But if I don't go through them and I don't actually follow the steps, it just ends up becoming a jumbled mess.
Yeah, totally. That was one of my main goals with the program. Not just give people uh, a ton of information and you do whatever you want with it. No, there's like a very clear path. You set up a very clear and solid foundation for your practice. Then you get your first clients by doing A, B, and C. Then you start building a system for long-term client creation.
Mm-hmm.
As simple as that, right? It doesn't need
Yeah.
to be, what do I do with all this information, right?
And I think that's one of the things that that's one of the reasons that I work with you and I keep working with you is it's you have a way to make things simple. Like my brain already overcomplicates things because ADHD features. Like I'm thinking about like 12 different uh, alternative realities and possible scenarios of what could happen all at the same time. And so, even with marketing or niching, finding your niche or writing a blog, you have a way, it's like you have a way that's so simple. It's one way that I could describe it. It's simple. It's like it simplifies the difficulties of going through this process. And it's kind of like you use you seem to help me use what I already kind of naturally do and just turn that into my business skills, um, which is awesome.
Yeah. Totally. So it's like for me, this whole process of building private practice, your business as a counselor or as a coach, is stripping down the layers of the onion, not
Yes.
getting more and more onions, right? Let's focus on what actually works and what do you need to do right now
Yeah.
instead of in a year from now, right? Because
Yeah.
then you're not doing your business any favors if you're doing something that's more of a long-term goal, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Fabio, what are your biggest measurable achievements as a result of the program, of doing this?
Yeah. Um, Again, one of those things that I could list so many. Um, I have a website.
Yep.
I have a website. I'm going to say I have a website that I'm proud of.
Yeah. You do
And
have a website that you're proud of?
I have a website that I'm proud of that I built, that I've asked, some feedback here and there, and that I received from you, from the folks in the program. But I
By the
love,
way, by the way, the link is in the case study text. So anyone who watches this case study interview, you can just go and see what Fabio did.
yeah, it's fabiofina.com or fabiofina.org. But website that I'm proud of. I love the photos on there. I love the writing on it. That you really help me out. You have kind of you know, a structure that I follow to write my content.
Mhm.
Um, I started. I have blogs on it, which it's like I have material.
Yeah.
Um, and the thing that I like the most is that it feels like me. It's not a copy of somebody else's website out there. It's like it's me. It resonates with who I am. It's my face onto the web. It feels authentic. Not like I need to be, Tony Robbins or somebody else. Like I could just be me and put myself out there. Um, I've learned what SEO is, so I've taken care of that.
Search
And
engine optimization for whoever doesn't know.
yes, exactly. And I've learned a way to market through using ads and things of that nature. Well, that's just one of the ways that I've learned to market. There's other ways, but that it's targeted to the people that are, most need my help, that like are really suffering, that most need to find me. And so what it looked like practically is that pretty quickly I started getting phone calls. You did say that some of the process is like trial and error. So let's say I put out my Google ads, and I may not get anything for a month. So the test for me was, with some of the ads that I put out, it was to actually stick with it long enough to see the metrics and to see what was working, what wasn't. And yeah, so where I'm at right now, I don't have a full practice. I have a half full practice, which is, great. It's going from two private clients that I had, to half filling my practice, which is massive.
Yeah, and you created that in when you fully commit. How long did it take you to get here from zero to have private practice?
From zero clients at all,
Yep,
about a year and a half.
year and a half.
Yeah, year and a
So,
half.
do you think you can get to six figures within 2 years from
Yeah.
from zero to six figures?
Yep. And yeah,
How
I
do you know?
do. What's that?
How do you know? Because I think that that's the biggest question and the biggest goal for anyone who considers this program is, well, yeah, I want to get clients. That's the main thing. And I want to have a predictable system for making that happen.
Yeah, I would say that, as a client, I definitely have a predictable system that I use. Literally, some things I've like printed and I have them with me, and I use them. Certain structures of, how to speak to clients and things like that, or certain steps to follow. What I will say to specify, probably like, can I get it? Can I get to six figures? Yes. In 2 years, yes. With a caveat that, and you say this in the program, like it's all dependent on the amount of effort that I put in.
Yes.
So, I have a newborn. We just moved into a new home, newborn. We got married all within a 6-month span. So, major life transitions on top of starting, really building my private practice. So my time is diminished. I could imagine that if I had a slightly different life situation with maybe a little bit more time, I could crank it up even more. Yeah.
And during the program, so many people here say, yes, it's great to have a system in place and set all the foundation, but will I get my money's worth by investing into the program even during those 9 weeks, right? Have you created at least one client based on the information in the program?
1,000%. I've created
Okay.
more than a client.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, just yeah, way more than one. Yeah, it's just what I'm seeing is, again, to reveal myself, I've struggled with finances growing up. I didn't grow up wealthy, and so and the money consciousness in my family was, we struggled, and so I had these myths that like you can get success only if you already know how to deal with money, or only, if you, and what I'm seeing is like there is a structure, there is a path to six figure or to a full private practice. I somehow was under the illusion or the fantasy that it just happened. Like some therapists, especially where I live, in Boulder, in Colorado here, like, which is oversaturated with therapists. Like some therapists just get it. Some people, they just have that magic, and and instead now what I'm seeing, it's like, no, there's a structure. There's like a system.
Yeah.
It's possible to get there.
It kind of reminds me of, the childish wishful thinking. There are powerful forces, magical forces around us. The therapists that succeed, they just succeed because they're magical and all powerful. And you think, no, it's
totally
actually just knowing what to do business-wise.
And it's so disempowering too, right? Because it's like, somebody else has it and I don't. Poor me. It's kind of victim-y. It's kind of defeatish. defeatist.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of like, no, hold on a second. There's a structure. Follow the structure. Get support. Like, don't do it by yourself. Get support with, with text, email with each other, and like figure it out. And then results start coming. Like, it's a direct proportion to the effort.
So it's interesting what you mentioned about scarcity mentality and beliefs about money. We talk a lot about this in the
Mm-hmm.
program, and actually constantly add new material in terms of so people would be able to go deep into this work because this is the basis for success, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I bet that anyone who watches that this interview right now and thinking about the program, they think, well, it's kind of scary to invest money in my business, especially when I don't have enough clients, maybe, or success is not guaranteed, and all of that, right? And I'm familiar with that. I have those thoughts too. And we're doing this interview in quarantine right now, in the middle of the Corona crisis, right? And I thought, well, maybe I should stop going to my therapist, or and as a result, well, and I'm thinking about that, and yeah, I'm seeing my therapist every week. I just signed up for a new coaching program myself as a client, cost 2,500. Uh, Renewed my coaching contract with my individual coach, and it this there is movement and momentum in that. Yeah, I'm investing in myself, and in the middle of the crisis, I have this week and last week, I think it's like 12 consultation calls that were scheduled by clients, potential
Awesome.
clients, and just constantly having new clients. And I see some therapists like, oh my God, I'm losing all my clients, and I barely lost any,
Mm-hmm.
not to blow my own horn, right, but knowing how to work with crises, even having a system in place, making sure that I fulfill the needs of my existing clients and have a system for acquiring new ones, right? Just makes everything easier. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so when people ask themselves, should I invest or should I not? Especially when I'm not in this perfect place financially, maybe, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? What would be your thoughts?
Yeah, 100%. Because, so, well, one things I like to say before is, um, I can, I've seen and read a lot of books and I've seen a lot of programs out there, and it's really easy to get skeptical. Like, oh, yet again, another program. Is this really going to help me? And to me, it's like, what's the level of pain what was it that I was in? What's the level of desire that I was in, that I had to build a private practice, to have it full, to get to six figure. A lot, also given my life situation. Like, I feel like I want and I need to support my family. I
Yep.
need to do that. And so then more directly to your question is, uh, again, there's a fantasy that that like somehow my private practice will work on its own, will magically work, and then my clients will rescue me out of my own poverty,
Huh.
which is so crappy, right? And it's like, no, I need to be willing to invest, like plant the seeds, and then stick through the season with the rain and the sun, and then the plants will come out. Like, but I actually have to be willing to buy the seeds and plant them. So just to use like since it's spring here, we're getting ready to have a garden. But like, basically, I need to be willing to pay the money um, to invest in a program that will give me back the tools that I need in order to grow. And one more thing, real quick, and this is, I learned from you. This was a huge lesson for me. I still use it. With the ADHD, I was under the belief that if I just get more books, and so you know this about me, like I would come home with like 30 library books, like like literally a stack of 30 books, sometimes 15, 16, but lots of books. And I would generally never get through any of them, would often not crack them open. And so one of the things I learned from you is instead of investing in a book or buying like a $10-15 book that maybe I'll never crack, and my history has shown that, I might just as well invest a little bit more or significantly more in a program that's guided, where I actually go through a process and I actually get the tools, instead of, having this like fluffy hope that I'll get something through a book. That's for me. Does that make
Yeah,
sense? Yeah.
yeah, totally. Instead of having the illusion of I'm doing something by buying one book that might have a magical solution again, right?
Yeah.
I actually, it's better to invest in a process that can take me through the steps that are needed, the actions that are needed. It's about implementation. That's the power of the program, I believe in. It
Yeah.
takes you through the process instead of giving you just a bunch of information. You don't need a program if you just want information, really. Well, I think, yeah,
Totally. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I still remember one of the things you said in one of the last classes. You were like, if you had a choice between like watching the class and learning the material and taking action and implementing what, building your website, writing a blog post, whatever, do the action. Like, you're very much about like actually take the action. Don't keep swallowing information for the sake of knowledge, but like actually implement it.
yeah. And one of your changes that you did is building that home office, beautiful one around you.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah,
It's pretty nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the books now are just for the sake of beauty.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They
good.
whisper suggestions.
Yeah, my biggest hope for this program is actually secretly, right, is create internal deep transformation for coaches and counselors so
Hmm.
that they would be able to create what they want to in their lives for their own sake, for the sake of their loved ones, and for the sake of their clients, right? If
Hmm.
you're struggling financially or you're struggling to take action in your life and you expect that from your client, that's really not practicing what you preach, right?
Hmm.
So I'm wondering what are some, if you have noticed any internal transformation for yourself uh,
Yeah.
during and as a result of this program.
Yeah. I had a therapist years ago before I started grad school. I was working as a bartender and thinking about going into grad school, and my therapist told me at the time, your step to greater confidence and self-worth is going to be take action, witness that you can do it, which will give you more confidence, and then which will give you more confidence to take more action. So it's like take action, do it, take action, do it, confidence, take action, do it, and you keep growing. And so I would say for me, a greater sense of worth, like esteem, self-esteem, which is connected to taking action. Like taking action, I see that I can do it. I feel more like a professional. I feel more like a. I'm not doing this therapy business just on the side. Like this is my identity. This is my clinical and professional identity. This is what I do. So confidence, a greater sense of self-esteem, a sense of like actually being able, like practicality. I can do this. Um, sense of clarity. I know what the process is. Like for instance, right now I've slowed down. I'm a little bit more invested on of course, with the baby, but I know that whenever I can go back to keep building my website, I have a lot of plans. I want to have a podcast, and I have tons of plans long term. And so the structure that you laid out, see, it gives me confidence that I can keep following it and achieving those goals.
Mhm. So it's interesting what you're saying about keep on doing the work, right? Do you think you have, even though it's 9 weeks program, do you think there is enough material to keep you going even after those 9 weeks?
100%. It has to be. I will suggest to anybody who thinks they're going to get fixed in 9 weeks that you're living in a fantasy. Like, no. Um, you know, I mean, if you get to six figures in 9 weeks, call me. tell me how you did it.
And
Uh,
call me too.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like,
it
let me
took
know.
it took
Yeah.
me less than a year, I think, but it was definitely not 9 weeks.
9 weeks, that would be magical. No, it's like 9 weeks will sets me on the course, gives me a really clear map on how to proceed, and then it's just like I gotta keep doing the work. I can tell you that the other cool thing about the program is that, so I started a little WhatsApp group between me and the other members of the group. We would just like text each other, and we're still doing it. Like we're still supporting each other, and the program ended like a couple of weeks ago. So that is to say that like the kind of friendships continue, and that's something I need to continue to grow. And so they're going to support me, I'm going to support them to keep going past and beyond the 9 weeks and keep building our businesses.
Yeah, wonderful, Fabio. I'm very proud of everything that you achieved. It's pretty remarkable to see your success, and I hope that it would be inspiring to hear for the people who are watching this.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, thank you, thanks for the help.
You're more than welcome. For anyone who's watching this, go ahead, read about the program, contact me if you have any questions, and there's a small 15 minutes crash course that you can take, and that will help you to get a sense of what it's all about, and already having some information in terms of what you can do right now for your private practice. And it's free, by the way, so go ahead and do that. Lots of resources on the blog, a lot. So, and it's all free. You can get some cool ideas about what to do in your marketing. All right. I'll see you in the program.
Bye.